Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down greatness. Man, we got a fun one for you today. We got some NFL news to talk about. There's some important things that have happened. Of course, one of them being shocker. Keenan Allen signs like right away as soon as we get off when we talk about it. Of course, but there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about in the NFL with some news and everything like that. We got suspensions have been announced and everything like that. And then after that, got a little fun ending for you. We're going to talk about games to look forward to in the week one. Because I won't lie to you, I broke down week one forever ago, like by myself, in college football and in NFL. I don't totally remember what games we got, so it's going to be fun to go over them on air real quick. Just talk with the people about it as well, because let's be honest, we see it up there. 16 days to week 0, 28 days until week 1. So we basically, and then if you want to count to week 1 of college football, add an extra 7 days onto that. We got 23 days until college football. 28 days till the NFL, so man, I think it's about time we should get early into week 1, see what some of the betting lines are, see what some of these games are. Mainly the games. We'll probably do betting line stuff more a little bit closer to the games, but I at least want to talk about what games are going on. All that fun jazz. But before we get into that, there is some NFL news we do need to talk about. Let's go on and do it. First one, NFL suspends Jordan Addison for 3 games over the DUI case. And but this is not too shocking. We expected this suspension to come at some point. It was just a matter of, was it going to be the max for like 3-4 games? Was it going to be a low end of 1 or 2? Cut off higher than max. He'll be permitted to practice and play in expedition games before the suspension kicks in. So he won't be able to play against Chicago, Atlanta, or Cincinnati, but he'll be back at the game after that. But like I said, this has been expected for a long time. He was arrested for excessive speeding the week before training camp of his rookie year. So, I mean, this was like 2 years ago at this point, and they finally just now are announcing suspensions for it. It's kind of crazy how long some of this stuff truly does take. I mean, yeah, so this was just a long, drawn-out process. Finally got an announcement, 3-game suspension, and then we will be moving on from there. And then we just talked about it. Keenan Allen's going to be signing a 1-year deal worth $8 million with the Chargers to return to them. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. It's like, man, he could have been a one-helmet-only guy. And he didn't have a horrible season with the Bears at all, but it's nice for him to see him come back to the Chargers, which is a team that he's always been with. And yeah, now it's Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Trey Harris, and Keenan Allen. That's that receiving room with Keenan Allen. Fantasy-wise, probably kind of a bit worse for a lot of those guys because he will eat up some targets. But overall, for Justin Herbert and the Chargers, this is an awesome ad because we don't fully know what Trey Harris is. We kind of know what Quentin Johnson is. I mean, he has some moments, but he's still dealing with a lot of drop issues. But Ladd McConkey was that guy, and now they have Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen as 2 kind of dominant possession receivers, or in Ladd's case, I mean, he can go down the field too, but they have 2 dominant receivers. They got a deep threat in Quentin Johnson, and they got a wild card in Trey Harris. So this is a Chargers team that, yeah, all of a sudden this offense is starting to look really, really special, and adding Keenan Allen is probably a great veteran presence to add. I don't want to get too much into this because, before we get into that, apparently Jerry Jones has come out and expressed doubt Tuesday on whether Michael Parsons will play Week 1 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. He said, no, absolutely not confident. He said a big part of it is Parsons' decision. How would I know that? No, but it just, I don't know. It just, more and more this drags out. I mean, the fact that he's even saying this now is just like, just pay the guy, man. I mean, you know he's going to end up staying there. You know they're going to pay him. Like, just come to agreement instead of saying all this stuff to the media. But, yeah, that's not how Jerry Jones works. We know that, so going to be interesting. We're going to keep following on with this Micah Parsons thing and see if it ever ends up getting figured out. ESPN apparently is requiring NFL Network, Red Zone rights, and then they're going to give the NFL they're going to give the NFL a stake in the ESPN. Apparently, NFL's been looking to sell NFL Network for like 5 years. ESPN has been one of the favorites for this whole time. Now, finally, after 5 years, they got it done. Like I said, so NFL's going to get 10% into ESPN. ESPN is expected to launch its direct-to-consumer service, streaming service that's supposed to launch basically at the end of September. Apparently, it's going to give all ESPN programs for $29.99 a month, as well as some NFL programming. And eventually, they're going to get WWE on there. So this is starting to become a big thing. NFL Network, I mean, obviously they get that. The NFL Red Zone channel will be distributed now through ESPN. And like I said, the NFL gets a 10% equity stake in ESPN. ESPN is currently 80% owned by ABC, and 20% is owned by Hearst. So now it's 72 ABC, 18 Hearst, and 10% NFL. My biggest thing I have for this is I don't know how much it's going to change, honestly. We're just going to have to see. Look at the Pat McAfee show as a prime example. Is this the NFL leasing it to ESPN, basically, where they're going to be able to kind of, the NFL can still do what they want, but it's going to be shown on ESPN? Or is it straight up ESPN going to be making decisions? That's how I think we should look at this. I lean more towards the leasing part of it, where it's like there's a lot of people like, oh, or Red Zone going to get commercials. First off, they already started to show commercials last year when they did the small screen, end screen. I think that's probably going to be here to stay at this point. There's no way if they trial run it last year with Red Zone, there's no way they're just going to take that away now. I think that is here to stay. It's just a matter of do we actually get commercials or not. I don't think so. Like I said, I think it's going to be anything's going to be commercial and commercial. There's a lot of people scared Scott Hansen's going to leave. I don't think ESPN is dumb enough to do that, if we're being honest. Because, I mean, like I said, yet again, with the Pat McAfee show as an example, that show really did not change at all. I mean, obviously, yes, there were some minor changes here and there, but overall, it's just more of like a quality thing where quality got upped a little bit. There's more hands behind the scene now doing more stuff. The only thing is, for the NFL doing this, I think, by the way, I think it was like $325 million a year. It comes down to that ESPN is paying the NFL to have NFL rights. It's just, I'm shocked that. I'm just more of the, I guess not totally shocked. It's more of a curious, like, what is the big benefit of ESPN getting it? Is it just that, like, hey, like I said, back McAfee show-wise, we're like, hey, we're just going to show your shows. We're just going to host it on our streaming platforms so more people come to us? Or what's the end game? That's my big overview coming into this because, like I said, I don't think too much is going to change, especially, like, Red Zone-wise. NFL Network-wise, I'm not 100% sure, honestly, because I really don't know if they plan on, like, cutting. Like, I don't think they're Good Morning not Good Morning Football. What is it? Game Day Morning, I believe. That goes every Sunday. Like, are they going to change that show out for something? That's the stuff I'll admit I am not 100% sure on. But for the most part, I'm pretty confident that not too much should change. It should just be mainly them updating some stuff. I mean, there's obviously going to be minor tweaks and everything. But if we're talking, like, whole overhaul changes, I'm not assuming it's going to be. But, hey, it's ESPN, it's Disney. We're going to really have to see. Especially, I won't lie to you. As a partial Star Wars fan myself, I would be lying to you if I said I didn't have an eye at least on this. Because, like, I won't lie to you. I don't fully trust Disney anymore. Just because of a lot of that stuff that's been going on. I mean, the same with, like, Marvel stuff and all that, too. Like, there's a big fan of that stuff. And watching it kind of go downhill a little bit. So I won't lie to you. I do got my eye on this a little bit. Like, all right, how much are you going to change, really? But I'm optimistic, at least, that hopefully it's just going to be more of a licensing deal than more of a, hey, we're changing this. And then yeah. Yeah, I hope at least. We'll see. Eric Armstead is dealing with a back injury. Now he's uncertain for week 1. He opened up camp last month, watching from the sideline. And now, 2 weeks later, with Armstead still not practicing, Cohen said that he's dealing with a back injury that has him on the shelf indefinitely. Originally, he came out and said he's just being a veteran and he's dealing with some other stuff. He's just taking veteran days, doesn't need to start too early. Now they're saying it's a back injury, but Cohen expressed optimism that Armstead could be ready by the team's opener on September 7th. It's hard, but he did say it's hard for me to say right now. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to see. But yeah, generally, yeah, we're just gonna have to see because I don't know. This is just a weird situation. We have to practice in over a month. I mean, the thing is, we still have like 28 days to get ready, so he still has enough time. But the closer we get to that date, the more it's just like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna play in the first game. Buffalo Bills and James Cook are in agreement. So Cook's still holding out. Sorry, I thought they said something. I thought they gave a little bit more information away there. They did not. Cook's holding out. He's now missed his 3rd practice, and it's kind of unclear how far apart they are. What's expected to be a 3. So apparently, this is what this article has to say. I don't know for sure where they got the information from, but I think it's the AP. Is it from the AP? I think it's from the New York Associated Press. So. Though the two sides also differ whether Cook's open to go... hold on, wrong part, sorry. Though it's unclear how far apart they are on what's expected to be a 3-year contract, Cook's current asking price ranges somewhere between $11 to $12 million and a half guaranteed money. How that fits in the Bills' long-term salary cap structure is unclear, even for a player. I mean, yeah, he had 16 rushing touchdowns last year. I obviously think it's going to regress a little bit this year because it was an abnormal amount of touchdowns last year, but... This is one of those things you would think they get it done. I mean, we saw Kyron Williams get like a 3-year, $33 million, $24 million guaranteed. Especially with just how young he is, you would think that they'd want to pay it, but I guess this is what Brandon Beane had to say. It's how you divvy up your money. You don't want to lose James Cook. He's a valuable piece of our team. He said, but you also don't want to lose Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown, the line we put together, and the money we put into the pass rush. Teams are forced with choices, and those choices get really hard once you paid the quarterback. So I won't lie to you. Hearing them kind of say that, it's kind of like, oh. But if he's truly just asking for like $11 to $12 million deal, I don't understand why they don't just give him like a 3-year, $36 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. Boom, there's just $10 mil a year. Then they can talk the rest of the incentives. Like another one of those things. I don't get why they're waiting so long, but at the same time, Ty Johnson did play pretty well. Ray Davis played pretty well. I would say James Cook was better than those two for sure, but they do have running backs back there, so it's not the end of the world if they do decide just to move on from him. So, yet again, another situation we should probably keep an eye on. So apparently, there's a whole issue with the smelling salts and everything. The NFL has come out and kind of cleared it up because there was a lot of people who were kind of upset about this. So the NFL players are still permitted to use smelling salts. The NFLPA clarified to its players in a memo, the new policy restricts teams from providing players with smelling salts, but doesn't prohibit players from using them to their own behest. I mean, it's pretty stupid, I won't lie. I don't know. I just think, as a guy who's used smelling salts before and all that, like, I get if they're saying, like, the biggest thing I think they came out and said was, like, there's something that, when they did the smelling salts, they weren't able to see, here we go, potential negative effects of ammonia inhalants. They're talking about that, and the main thing was when it came with, like, concussions, where apparently if you did the smelling salts, like, having a concussion, you were able to, like, shake off the symptoms a little bit easier, but I won't lie to you, the picture this article used for is hilarious. It looks like Baker's literally just shoving that shit up his nose. This is from the article that I chose to read from for this specific thing, but I think it's smart that they're basically saying, like, hey, if you want to buy it on your own, go ahead, but we aren't going to allow teams to supply them for you anymore. Kind of dumb, because, I mean, but let's be honest, they're NFL players making hundreds of thousands of dollars, so it's probably not that expensive to buy smelling salts, so one of those things. At least they're still keeping it in the league, but yeah, just weird situation. There is some preseason news, so I'll try to, like, as I hear some of it, maybe talk about it. Other Jets starters are going to play. So Justin Fields and some other starters are going to play in the preseason open. Steelers are sitting majority of their players in the preseason open. Those are just two things I remember hearing from today from something I listened to. C.J. Gardner-Johnson apparently went to tight out John Mechie. And after making contact, he fell to the ground. He's unable to move his lower leg and writhed in pain as the entire practice fell silent. Players and coach eventually surrounded Gardner-Johnson. The medical staff helped him get to the cart. And he was unable to put any pressure on his right leg. So this happened basically an hour ago. Was when this article was published. So this happened earlier today. So keep an eye out for that as we head into the weekend on what's happening with CJ DJ. That's going to be a sad loss for the Texans. He's going to be a huge addition to them. Like I said, they had a really, really good secondary. They had Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Kalen Bullock, Jalen Petrie, and they had CJ DJ. It's going to be a horrible loss if he ends up having like a season-ending injury, but if they got the cart to bring him out and he's writhing in pain, and the only thing is we got to be careful with this is they bring out the cart for almost everything in training camp, even if it's like a rolled ankle. But the fact that he's able to put no weight on it is kind of like because even with rolled ankles or other stuff, like guys will try to walk off the field, they can walk off, but having no weight on it, that is a little bit scary. Like I said, though, they usually always bring out the carts for almost all the injuries in the preseason, so we're just going to have to hope. We're just going to have to wait and see how bad the injury truly is. I believe Shedeur Sanders is starting for their preseason game, and I want to say that's tonight. It's not tonight, excuse me. It's tomorrow. I was off a day. They play the Panthers tomorrow, so that's going to be pretty interesting. But yeah, that's just, like I said, something to keep off for CJ DJ. Announcement is that, as of right now, Travis Hunter will play wide receiver and cornerback in the first preseason game. Other starters, including Trevor Lawrence, will also get playing time as well. Now, how much playing time will they get? No idea. Wouldn't be shocked if it's like 1 or 2 drives. Wouldn't be shocked if it's 3 or 4. But I would assume it's probably going to be a lot shorter because they're going to want to focus on later preseason game. We still have 2 preseason games to go. I don't think they're going to go balls for balls in the first one, but they're definitely going to play it some. Apparently, Cam Hayward wants a pay raise, so he hasn't fully participated in practices. He's scheduled to make $14.75 million this season, with $13.5 million of it already paid out in roster bonuses. The two sides reportedly haven't made any progress. In a revised deal. He signed an extension last offseason that paid him through 2026, so Genuinely don't know what this move is, but yeah, the fact that he just signed the extension last year, now he's trying to play this card again. I don't know. I'm assuming that he's still going to play this season regardless. I just don't know how this contract situation is going to turn out for him. And then the final thing I want to bring up, apparently Rashawn Slater was carted off of practice Thursday with apparent leg injury as well. Trainers attended to Slater on the ground before he was placed on the cart. Some teammates came up to hug him before he headed to the locker room. This one sounded really, really bad as well. So this is another one of those ones where, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like how bad it is. I'm trying to read some of this information, but yeah, this Rashawn Slater one sounded like it was pretty bad. And the fact that another issue too is like a little bit of a difference between CJ DJ and Rashawn Slater. One's like, I'm pretty sure like 150, 175 pounds heavier than the other one. So if it is a leg issue, it might take Slater a little bit longer to go out. Hold on, I actually do have a video of it from practice. It was posted by Warren Sharp. I will say, I don't want to make any speculations or anything, but if you want to see this video, it was posted by Warren Sharp. He got bumped into on his right side. The injury's on his left leg, but he got bumped into on the right side by one of the pass rushers on the edge, it looks like. Oh, no, it's not even that. So he literally just kind of... He basically is like bull rushing between the guard and the tackle, and then you see him just kind of fall down. Oh, man, this is tough, dude. Yeah, so you basically see him just kind of try to block from the... So he basically is getting bull rushed from the outside. Sorry, I was looking at the defensive lineman the whole time, trying to figure out like which one it was. So you see him just kind of bull rushing from the outside, and as he gets hit, he basically falls down instantly, and the knee gives out, and he grabs it right away. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. That is actually pretty scary. I'm really hoping that... I'm hoping he's going to be okay. But, yeah, that looks like one that's going to be, like, really, really scary. So, yeah, that's going to do it for today with that part of it. Now it's time to go over some, like I said... Let's go over some games real quick. So I'm going to talk Week 0 and Week 1 of college football just because, well, there's one game I want to talk about when it comes to Week 0, and that's Iowa State, Kansas State is going to kick off the season. Really, really excited for that 3-point spread game. I really have no idea who's going to win that game. I want to say Kansas State. I think my early lean is Kansas State, but I'm going to have to look into that I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more because I'm not fully... I don't know. I think we have a 3-game winning streak right now going on into the Ireland game, so I want to try to make that 4 years strong. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one to decide. Besides that, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston, I'm just kind of excited for that as a betting potential game. But, yeah, then you look at it. So now we're going to head into officially Week 1. Boise State, South Florida should be... I guess that's not the best of games, huh? Shout out to Delaware. Delaware is playing Delaware State. Delaware is first year in FBS, so that's going to be interesting to see how they do this season. We have some decent... There's number 1 versus number 2 when I eventually get to it. We'll talk about it. Nebraska-Cincinnati might be a sneaky good game. And that's on Thursday. Friday, probably not too many good games as of right now, it looks like. Yeah, Georgia Tech, Colorado. Colorado's at home, and they're getting 4 points. That is very, very interesting. That's a game that... that's a game that has the potential to be really good. Auburn versus Baylor. Auburn could be on potential upset alert by Baylor there. So that's another game that I for sure am interested in. Then we move on to Saturday. Syracuse, Tennessee might be a decent game. Texas versus Ohio State. That's going to be a great game. I'm very, very excited for that game. I hate that it's at noon now. I wish that could be the nighttime game. Northwestern, Tulane should be a fun one. Just starting to find some of these spreads that are close to... It's going to be nice to see what West Virginia looks like under Rich Rod, but they play Robert Morris, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a... Obviously, it's not the best potential when it comes to opponent they're facing, so that's going to be a little bit harder to judge there. Penn State, 45-point favorite. Sheesh. Alabama, Florida State should be really, really interesting just because of all the trash talk that's been going on between Thomas Castellanos and some of those other people, but... It'll be interesting to see how Florida State bounces back, too, after a horrendous season last year. Past that, though, so far, LSU Clemson, that's going to be a good game. I'll admit, there are some decently big spread games, but not as many as I thought, honestly. There's a lot of games that, they might be double-digit favorites, but it's like 10, 11, 12. It's not like 33, 43, 53 that we usually get. But yeah, another Utah UCLA will be an awesome game to end it on Saturday of that week one. Then you go to Sunday, Notre Dame, Miami, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. Then Monday, September 1st, you got North Carolina, TCU. I'm not gonna lie to you, that Sunday Monday slate is gonna be really, really nice to end it. I'm excited, man. It's still hard to believe that football is this close. I mean, wow. We got, like I said, we got Kansas State, Iowa State in basically 16 days, people. 16 days. But before we move on to the NFL and talk about that, I want to see if there's any college news. I really don't think there is. There's a lot of rumors going around that Arch won't leave Texas after the 2025 season. And now his dad is, I think it's Archie Manning, excuse me, the oldest Arch. The oldest Manning, Grandpa Manning. He's saying that he's going to, Arch is not going to go in the draft right away. He's going to stay at Texas and hopefully try to build. Basically try to play more quarterback, get more reps under his wing. That's what he said. Obviously, that could change based on. I think it's basically a question of like who's gonna be at number one. Like if the Browns are at number one, Giants are at number one. Wouldn't be shocked if he stays in, but at a certain point you can't dodge it forever. So I don't know. It's just that's making more headlines again. So I at least want to bring that up. Ohio State's still kind of in a QB competition. I'm assuming it's going to be Julian Sayin, but I don't think. I mean, Ryan Day hasn't given a very big. I don't think Ryan Day's given any big secrets away so far. But if Julian Sayin doesn't win this job, I don't know if it's. I lean towards more of like that might be a little bit concerning for Ohio State more than the other because of the potential that Julian has, but. We'll just have to see, man. But yeah, those are two things at least I want to talk about college football-wise. Let's talk about NFL, man. Week 1. What are some games we have to look forward to? Let's go get out of this preseason. Week 1, Dallas Cowboys versus Eagles. I'm kicking it off. I'll probably just read the whole NFL slate just to end it for Week 1, just to kind of talk about it. Give a quick few thoughts. I'll admit, Eagles Cowboys Week 1. I'm hoping this is close because it's a Week 1 game. We haven't played a lot of football yet, but that's a game where you look at it and right away I'm seeing like, Eagles might win that by 10. Just because I'll admit I don't know fully what to expect from the Cowboys, but I'd be lying to you if I thought they were going to be an amazing team this year. I don't know, man. That could be. I could see the Eagles blowing them out. I could also be in that maybe like it was like the Chiefs a couple of years ago when they lost the Lions and everyone was like, "What the hell? Are the Chiefs bad or something?" And then it turned out like, hey, maybe the Cowboys just weren't as bad as we thought we were, and the Chiefs ended up just being fine at the end. So maybe that's the situation here. No idea. I definitely would if I had to lean though. I definitely probably would take Eagles -7. I definitely think they'd win that by double digits as of right now. Chiefs against Chargers in Brazil. That should be interesting, man. I'll admit, I want to give the Chargers a chance, but I don't know. You got to feel like the Chiefs are going to be super hungry after the Super Bowl loss, right? Regardless, though, that's going to be a fun game. Thursday, I'll admit, kind of meh. I don't think it's a horrible game at all. I'll admit, I'm not the highest on seeing the Cowboys, so it's kind of like I don't want to. I'm excited for football though, so it's one of those things where it's like I'm excited that it's an NFL game, but I'll admit, Cowboys Eagles should be a good game. Wouldn't be shocked if it's not and becomes a blowout. So we were going to look at Sunday. Colts play the Dolphins. I'm very optimistic about this because it's a 1.5 point spread. I think this is definitely a game where the Colts can easily win it by 7, maybe even 10. The Dolphins might be bad this year. Now, I'll admit, it's the beginning of the season, so this is probably some of the best the Dolphins will look, but I definitely think as the season goes on, that bottom really might bottom out for the Dolphins. I would not be shocked if they're one of the worst teams in the AFC. I don't know. If I had to project, probably going to end up at like 11th, 12th in the AFC. That's kind of my projection for them. Just because of like the injuries, the defense getting a little bit weaker. There just has been a lot going on. Not the biggest fan of Tua, so I don't know what to expect there. Is he going to play the full season? Is Mike McDaniel going to keep his job? There's a lot of questions like that. I mean, the Colts are the same way, though. I mean, can Anthony Richardson figure it out? Will Anthony Richardson even be starting week 1, or will it be Daniel Jones? So I also think that built into the spread a bit. I will say, though, this might be one of the few spreads I try to jump on before the NFL season actually starts because I wouldn't be shocked if as the season starts, they say, hey, Anthony Richardson is starting. Maybe it goes up to like 2 or 3, or even if Dan Jones starting, it goes up to 2 or 3. I would not be shocked. Bucks versus Falcons. I like that division game to start off the year. That should be. It's gonna be interesting to see how Michael Penix gets off with a division game. It's gonna be interesting to see how he starts off the rip. If I had to predict it though, I think I'm gonna be. I actually don't know. I think I might just bet Bucks. They do have their over under of 9.5, but yeah, that's gonna be a fun game. Pittsburgh and the New York Jets, revenge game for both quarterbacks. That's gonna be interesting. I definitely think I'm gonna be taking the Steelers there, but that's gonna be a fun game, man. That's actually gonna be, I think, a really fun game. By fun game, I mean that's gonna be a football game. Defense, running the football, probably low scoring if I had to guess. Unless the Pittsburgh Steelers try to light it up for a revenge game. But I do think it's probably going to be a low-scoring battle. I mean, the over-under's 38. I mean, that's the only over-under as of right now in the whole week that's not over 40. Every other, I mean, we even got a 52 with the Bills and the Ravens that we'll talk about here in a minute. But, yeah, that's the lowest under of the week by far. I would not be shocked if that's like a 17-13 type of game. Maybe we just get a 2017 even. Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. I won't lie to you. I might bet Carolina in that game. I'm excited to see how they look this year. The thing I'm going to be really excited about, how is Trevor Lawrence? I will admit, I am intrigued to see how Trevor Lawrence is coming off the injury, but how's Travis Hunter going to play? Is he still going to be playing both sides of the ball by this point? Those are two questions I really have. But Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, that should be a good game. New York Giants, Washington Commanders. I mean, the Commanders I won't say blow them out, but I just don't. The biggest thing is the defense, man. If the defense can hold Washington down a little bit, this will be a close game. If the defense for the Giants can't, I don't know how the offense hangs. I mean, they have Malik Neighbors. I do think eventually Cam Scatterboo will become a pretty good guy for them, especially running the ball. But Tyrone Tracy's okay. Rest of the receiving core, oh man, not the biggest fan of. So Darius Slayton's okay. But especially that Russell Wilson part, I'm just not a fan of their quarterback situation. Jackson Dart, I just don't know what to expect from him, so I'm not going to say too much about that yet. But that's a game where I expect the Commanders to probably win it handily. Cardinals, 5.5 point favorites over the Saints. Saints are the home team in that one. I think the Saints are dogs in every game, but I think maybe one. I know for the Giants, they're dogs in every game except for the Saints, where they're 1 point favorites. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints are dogs in every single game, but oh man, Saints-Cardinals probably not going to be the prettiest game, but that should be a game where Cardinals should handle business. Bengals, 5.5 point favorites over the Browns. The Browns shouldn't win that game, but I know, man, I bet the Browns to go 0-5 to start the season. This is the only game I'm scared of because Cleveland or Cincinnati comes out so flat. So I'm hoping they play a decent amount of starters during the preseason so they can get guys ramped up because the Bengals have had the slowest starts ever to the beginning of the season, and then they have to like almost double work their ass off just to get to the point where, hey, we kind of made up for the slow start of the season. So that's one where it's like my main focus is like, God, please just don't blow a game this year like they did to the Patriots last year. Patriots 3-point favorite against the Raiders. That's going to be a really fun game just because new coaches. I don't want to say new quarterbacks because Drake May has been there, but there's a lot of new about these two teams. So that's going to be a game I'm excited for. 4 o'clock. Now we're hitting the 4 o'clock window. So that was all the 1 o'clock window I just read off besides the Thursday and Friday game. 4:05. Starting the 4:05 window for the Eastern time zone. We got the 49ers versus Seahawks. That should be a fun divisional battle. I'd probably pick the 49ers to win that one there if I had to. Going to be interesting to see what Sam Darnold looks like with the Seahawks. Titans, they're taking on the Broncos. Broncos are 8-point favorites. If the Broncos defense is as good as it's supposed to be, that might be a tough introductory game for Cam Ward. I would not be shocked if he finishes like 13 for 25 or something like that. 175 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, something like that. But I do not think I don't think the Titans will be scoring more than 17 that week, especially because the Broncos defense is projected to be like really good. So if that's the case, I mean, this is a Titans team that they got a lot of new guys and a lot of new places. So that's going to take a minute probably for them to get up and used to it. The Detroit Lions are taking on the Packers. That's going to be a blast of a game. Interested to see how the two new coordinators look for the Lions. Because, yeah, I mean, both of them are gone. I think we had Aaron Glenn, who's the coach of the Jets. Ben Johnson, coach of the Bears now. So, going to be interesting to see how those two new coaches do with their stops as well. But Packers Lions, that's some potential. That should be a fun game. Regardless, the Texans are taking on the Rams. If Matt Stafford plays, that's some potential to be a fun game as well. Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Joe Mixon. We're basically kind of waiting on this Joe Mixon news with his ankle on. Apparently, Nick Chubb's been really, really struggling to have some burst, which makes sense. He had two. In the NFL, he had basically 2 surgeries on the same knee. Or is that? Is it 3 surgeries now on that knee or 2? I can't. Not 100% for sure. I know it's a minimum 2, could be 3 on the same knee. So, of course, it's going to affect you. At a certain point, you can only have so many surgeries before you just eventually get slowed down. So, Woody Marks might be running back by then. Maybe it's Dameon Pierce. I'm assuming Joe Mixon might be fine by then. We don't know at this point. Sunday Night Football. Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a banger. I don't think I need to talk any about that. That should just be a lot of fun. And then Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. There's been a lot of bad publicity coming out for Caleb Williams and all that. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, that's going to be their first year together. And they're starting out on Monday Night Football against Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. That's going to be tough. But, hey, we got adverse situations where quarterback's been there already. We got a new head coach, and then we go to the Vikings. Head coach has been there. New quarterback's going to be in. So that's going to be a fun little chess match there to see. I would have to give the coaching edge to... Obviously, I'd give the coaching edge to the Vikings, but I'll admit, quarterback-wise, I haven't seen J.J. McCarthy yet, so by default, I have to give it to Caleb Williams, but hey, maybe J.J. McCarthy might surprise us and end up playing a really good game. We're just going to have to see. But yeah, that basically does it for NFL Week 1. Like I said, we're 28 days away from it. Can't wait. We talked about some of my favorite games for college football. It's going to be a fun week, man. Football is right there. We are so close to it. We just got a little bit farther to go. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the support. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back in this feed Tuesday to go over some more NFL news as well as just some more fun gimmicky stuff as we get closer to the season. Maybe talking spreads, money lines, maybe talking players, stuff to watch out for. Who knows? Just know there's going to be a lot of more football talk coming up because, hey, we're there, people. We are almost there. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. I will see everyone back in this feed on Tuesday. Hope everyone has a great weekend.